cards for this act in case you forget. So I decided to make up my own cute cards, and here they are. So here's my next set. Okay, we did that one. Okay, the theme of the show is blue. And when you're on a cruise and you go to a blue show, it's a late night show and you have to be over 18. Is anybody here younger than 18? Me? I know, I do that too. I add the digits in my age. So I'm 10. But the underlying theme is blue. And blue can have many meanings, like blue skies, or it's a happy thing. Bluebirds of happiness are happy. Where's my bag? Here it is. I brought a bluebird to keep me company.
Aww.
That's my bluebird.
Cute card.
Can anybody help me with some songs that have blue in the title or blue in the lyrics? Call them out.
Blue skies.
Blue moon. Bluebird.
Blue moon.
Blue moon. Bluebird. Blue, that's not a song.
We're Canadians though.
That's not. Excellent. Thank you.
Blue says. Love is blue says.
Blue suede shoes.
Ah,
Red
good.
roses for a blue lady.
Very good. Blue velvet. Blue velvet.
See, that comes to mind. Good. Good for audience participation.
All right.
Thank you. Where am I? Here. Okay. The early years. Welcome to my life. Blue is part of the theme of this presentation, and blue has special meanings. My brother and I were adopted at 3 months of age to a couple that were kind of older and really didn't have much training in parenting. So they put my brother and I in a playpen and left us there till we were 2 years old. So we were kind of developmentally retarded, disabled, challenged. Anyway, when we finally got out of that playpen, we raised havoc. And as my mother tells it, we're a little older by this time, maybe 4 years old, not in school yet. And I told my brother that I wanted to play barbershop and beauty parlor. So I got a pair of scissors and I cut my brother's hair just half. So he had to wear a hat to school until the hair grew in. But he got even and he washed my hair in Waterman's blue-black ink.
Oh.
And I had real blue hair then. So that was kind of cool. And then I had a police record at age 4.5. How did that happen? We're listening to the radio and we heard it was Be Kind to Animals Week. So, 2 of our animals met their demise. I'm not going to tell you how, but the turtles and the fish didn't survive the Be Kind to Animals Week. We thought we were doing nice things. And then my beloved blue parakeet, Pixie, disappeared. And my parents knew what happened to the turtle and the goldfish. But I didn't know what happened to Pixie. And they didn't believe us. And they put us in the car and in the winter and said, we're taking you to the police station for a lie detector test. And that's when that's when we met the man in blue.
Oh, right.
And they took my brother in first, so there could be no collusion. And my brother came out crying, and then I went in, and the sergeant said, okay, little girl, what did you do with the bird? And I said, I don't know. So to this day, we don't know what happened to Pixie.
Oh, Pixie. Poor Pixie.
Poor Pixie, where am I? Yep, okay, that was good. Police record, good. What do you call 2 birds in love?
Bluebirds.
Sweethearts. cards. Hi, my hairdresser. Hi. Good job, thanks. Yeah, very good. Okay, that was a good one. Early years, first police. Okay, now I'm on here. When is it time to buy a bird? No, when it's going cheap.
Good going, Jude.
I have trouble with foreign languages, and I try my best to study before I go to a foreign country. And I'm in a restaurant in Madrid, and I order cojones. And I was served cojones, but I really wanted camarones. So I learned my lesson.
Were they blue?
Right in the theme, thank you. Very good, Bonnie.
Blue cojones.
And then in Greece, I went to breakfast, and I'm looking at the menu, and I said calamari, and he brought me calamari when I meant to say calimera, which is good morning. So that was good too, right? I thought that was good. Now, how many of you have tried online dating? And chatting with people on the online dating website? Yes, I've been there, I've done that, and I've heard stories. Really cute stories. Somebody I know, the woman presented herself as petite, and she turned out to be a dwarf.
A what?
A dwarf. And you know, and people do make themselves younger online, so you kind of have to be prepared for that. Then another friend said and swore that this woman had her name as BJ Mechanic. BJ Mechanic. He said her name was Betty Jean Mechanic. Now, please. Some people don't get this. Okay, anyway, they wound up going to her home, and it turned out that she was a woman of ill repute, let's say. And, okay.
Now I got it.
Okay. I met a wonderful, wonderful man online, and he said, you have to be able to accept people for their differences. And I said, well, this is good because I weighed 300 pounds at the time. And he said, I can't drive anymore. You will have to pick me up for our date. And I said, okay, I don't mind, but I set the odometer. If you're over 15 miles, you're geographically undesirable. So I pull into his driveway, and I call him, and I say, I said, what would you like to do? He said, I'd like to see a sunrise at the beach. I'd like to see a sunrise at the beach. All right, time to be a sit-down comic. I'm tired of standing. I have to sit.
Yeah, get a bar stool.
I don't know if I can get up on that.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. You're tall.
Let's see.
We can lift you.
Right? Okay.
1 foot at a time.
1 foot at a time. There
That's
you
it.
go.
All right.
Yeah, pull yourself
You're
up.
natural.
Yay!
There you go.
Ta-da!
So I said, I'm here and I'm in your driveway. He said, well, come on in for a cup of coffee. And I said, no, I don't know you. I'm not coming into your house for a cup of coffee. So I figured, okay.
Louder,
He
Jim.
came out, and he had these big Coke bottle glasses, and I could sense that he was visually impaired. I said, this is good. He can't see I weigh 300 pounds. Perfect. So he had a sense of the life changing. So we got to the beach, we saw the sunrise. We went to John G's in Lake Worth for breakfast. And then we had a wonderful time, and he was a wonderful man with a beautiful voice. And on the way back to his house, he said, Judy, why wouldn't you come into my house for a cup of coffee? And I said, I figured if you were an axe murderer, I would want to have breakfast first. And that was, he fell in love with me then. And he really didn't want me to have my bypass because he loved me as I was. And that was very sweet. I did have a bypass then. And I got him into guest lecturing on cruise ships. And we did 20 cruises in 3 years' time. And that's where I became familiar with blue shows, which are the late night shows where the comics get a little raunchy. But I promise I will not use any bad language.
Oh, boo.
I have my
Boo.
own. I have my own glossary. Yes, you'll understand immediately. So because of my friend's visual impairment, even though we were considered staff, they always reserved 2 seats for us in the front. And one comic was up on stage, and he said, "I have a 6-month contract. I really, really, really miss my wife. Would somebody please make me feel at home?" And he jumps off the stage and puts a microphone in my face and says, "Call me an a-hole." But he said the word, and I wouldn't. And he said, "Say it, say it." And I wouldn't say it. Say it, say it. The audience is chanting, "Say it, say it, say it." I said, "Oh my God, I better do something." So I went, "Okay, you're a rectum." The audience, like 5 minutes of laughter. That was the end of that one.
What's the word she said? Rectum.
What?
I love it. That was great.
I'm glad you got it.
What if, instead of calling somebody an asshole, you call him a rectum?
Of course. He didn't like it. I saw him afterwards. He said I got more laughs than he did. Where are my Jersey people? Jersey people. Where's Tony?
Tony's back there. Tony, say hello.
Where's Big Tony?
Tony's in the back.
I don't think Tony.
Judy, I was just diagnosed with CRS.
What does that mean?
Can't remember shit.
I'm getting there. I'm getting there. Okay, what's the next? Oh, this is better. This is better. Very handsome African-American man up on stage, and he's going to play Truth or Dare with the audience. So the first set of questions is for a man. The men. And he says, "How many of you men in the audience have a little peanut?" Well, he didn't say peanut, but I did. And the room gets quiet, and then one guy goes, "Yeah!" One guy. Then more questions for the guys. Now, the women.
It's working.
Now it's working.
Try it.
I don't know, let's try it. Talk into it.
Hello, hello, hello.
Oh, good.
All right, now the show is over. I know. That's all I know.
Once is enough.
All right, so now we got through the men's questions, and now he says to the women, "And how many of you women like to be on top?" And all the women were, "Yeah, all of us." He says, "Yeah, you women, you get on top, and you jump up and down, and you spin around like you're on a ride in Disneyland. And you're whistling, and you're having a wonderful time." His act is over. I see him standing at the bar. I went over to him. I said, "Didn't you miss the punchline?" I said, "You said we were jumping up and down and spinning around and having a great time like we were in Disney World." And I said, "But you didn't tell what songs some of us were whistling." "It's a small world after all." I bet he's using it in his act. I bet he is. I get a lot of my inspiration right here right here. I forgot.
Get it out, Judy.
Oh, yeah, we were talking about automobiles and the economy and these gas-guzzling cars like Hummers. And I said, that brings something to mind. We have hummingbirds. I said, but sometimes when a guy goes below deck and he's taking care of a woman's nether regions, you can ask him to hum because it puts up like a really nice vibration. And I have, the name of the song is called the Vagine Rhapsody. And my exit is this. I have friends of all races, creeds, colors, sexual orientations. And I went out with one friend who lived with a woman, but I wasn't sure, and I didn't know how to ask her, so I just said, are you a roommate or a partner to this other woman? And she said, I'm bi. So I'm processing this. She said, I like men and I like women. So I said, oh, you're bi. And I processed, and then I said, I'm bi. Vibrator. That's my end joke. Now, I'm done. And thank you all for coming. And by a show of hands, how many people think I should give up my day, I should keep my day job? And
Which is what? Birding?
How many think I should keep my day job? By a show of hands, be honest. Come on. And how many people think I should be on the stage?
And there's one leaving in 5 minutes.